Boris Johnson is facing a legal challenge over the government's decision to impose the UK-wide coronavirus lockdown. A wealthy businessman has launched the legal bid, claiming the coronavirus lockdown will kill more people than it saves. Simon Dolan, whose Hoda aviation company has been delivering personal protective equipment (PPE) to the NHS, is seeking a judicial review over the government's emergency measures that he claims restrict people's personal liberty. His legal challenge mirrors the action taken by Gina Miller over Brexit, on the grounds that the lockdown was both legally defective and disproportionate in law. Accusing the government of paralysing the country and causing long-term damage, he is calling on Boris Johnson to relax the current lockdown restrictions and introduce 3 key changes to allow the economy to recover. This includes permitting gatherings of up to 100 people, reopening schools and reviewing the lockdown restrictions every 2 weeks. Mr. Dolan's lawyers have sent a letter before action to Health Secretary Matt Hancock, giving him until Thursday, May 7 to respond. Lawyers seek to challenge the government on 3 main points. Firstly, whether the lockdown is unlawful because the government implemented regulations under the Public Health Act 1984 instead of the Civil Contingencies Act 2004 or the Coronavirus Act 2020. Secondly, over the legality of the continuation of lockdown regulation, and whether the tests are too narrow, failing to take account of the economic and social impacts of lockdown. The final challenge will evaluate if the restrictions contravene the European Convention of Human Rights, which cover the right to liberty, family life, education and property. As part of the application, Mr. Dolan is also requesting the minutes of the Scientific Advisory Group for Emergencies (SAGE) meetings this year. The letter reads, failure to do so, release the minutes, will result in an application for disclosure if proceedings have to be issued. The legal challenge requires the government to justify the decision-making process which led to the lockdown being introduced in March. It will specifically ask about the scientific evidence and data used by ministers and civil servants to underpin the government's policy decisions. If the government fails to respond to the letter, Mr. Dolan's lawyers will apply for an urgent court hearing. Mr. Dolan, who owns 10 UK businesses and employs 600 people, said, every day that the lockdown continues it is paralysing the country, wrecking the economy and causing long-term damage. Based renewable energy company